What's good, guys, and welcome to COGblades here. And today, guys, I've noticed that not a lot of people do this in the Beyblading community, but we're going to give it a try. We're going to see if we can do it and how it goes. But today I want to show you guys my deck profile, the 3 bays I have on deck that I ended up taking to our local, like our first few local, and I put locals because they were like mock tournaments. They were just there to kind of get introduce the locals and stuff to the game, essentially. So it wasn't like any pricing or anything like that, but it was essentially mock. And yeah, so essentially I want to show you guys like the 3 bays that I've been taking, that I plan to take moving forward, and the changes that I'd make and stuff like that, and the experience I have with them. And yeah, we're just going to try and rock it through and try to do it this way. Hopefully if you guys like this type of content, please remember to give it a like and a subscribe, all that fine stuff. But yeah, without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump on into the deck profile. So huge shout out, I'll have to find out his name, but made this awesome BeyBlade deck here. I'm a huge Dragoon fan, so like it like helped out a bunch. Like this was like, I had to get it. I'm a huge Dragoon guy. So, but anyway, here's the 3 bays we have on deck. And first and foremost, we're just going to go ahead and start out with our Dragoon here. The main reason I'm even playing the game is simply because of this BeyBlade right here. This is Dragoon 160 on Elevate. I know Elevate is like the best tip for it, but something I really like about Elevate is it kind of gives a barrage type movement when it gets into the center, where, you know, it's like in the center and it just repeatedly bounces back. I really like that, and I just think that the Beyblade, like this bit, is really flimsy, like really burstable, but that's okay. That's where you gotta like, it's not just, as much as people would like to believe like Beyblade is just a let it rip, spin it as hard as you can, there's actually technique and launch patterns and stuff like that to the game. So that's where I've learned to like launch Dragoon, not rip it like as hard as I possibly can at Mach 10, but you at least want to, you can launch Dragoon with enough power to like hold its own and stuff like that. 160 here, like we'll go ahead and just break it down here. Of course, we have Dragoon. Then, like, the 160 ratchet is, like, really... It's either, like, 160, 560, or 960. Or maybe you can do, like, 760 as well on Dragoon. If there... I don't even know if there is a 760 ratchet, to be honest with you. But I chose 160 because, like, I understand that 560 is for balance. And that's, like... I feel like that makes Dragoon to be, like, a balance type. Or not, like, a more stamina. Like, it's just there for the long run. And I feel like Elevate gives it enough stamina. So I went with the 160 simply because 160 gives it a little bit more power in its attacks, and that's just the route I wanted to take with it. I don't know about you guys. I mentioned in the first video where we were doing like the live testing with Dragoon on Elevate that my ratchet here, I don't know if it's all 160 ratchets, but mine's kind of flimsy, which makes it just a little bit more bustable. But Elevate, not much more can be said about it. I really like Elevate. This is my favorite Beyblade in the entire game currently, and it just sucks that I got the black one. I wish I would have like got the blue one and kept this one like in case. But Dragoon on Elevate is really cool. It's probably like one of the top 10 Beyblades that exist. You know, that can counter Wizard Rod. It has a lot of like unique personality. It's like it hangs back on the like the outer edge when it comes around. It can like, I've been really practicing the tungsten drop with the left spin and been getting that down, and it's just like, it's due to its pattern here, it's like unpredictable, and like what you'll get, sometimes you get like, you're never just going to sit in the center, essentially is what I'm getting at. And a lot of times what I like about it, as I said previously, is it does like the barrage movement. So like when it gets down to that final circle and it's the last bit of it, Dragoon like will barrage and do a lot of like light hits, which since it's left spinning, and in those lower left spin scenarios, you can potentially do something which is called spin steal, which I don't know if is really a true thing or not. I've not noticed it. But potentially, since it's left spinning, you're taking the momentum from the right spinning bay, and in lower speeds, it allows Dragoon to steal that and keep it, so it does something called spin on death, where when the bay stops spinning, it gets a few more rotations in, which in Beyblade, that means you're going to at least get, you're going to win the match due to the outspin. But yep, Dragoon, 160 Elevate. I do have the 560 that I do plan to test with. I will probably be testing with the 560 in another testing video. I just plan to test with a few more different bays. Since I feel like this one's kind of figured out and it's just trying to find your personal preference. Since I've not tested on 560, I'll probably do that for sure. But yep, that's it for Dragoon on 160 on Elevate. And we'll move on here to Cobalt Drake, the special one. I refused to spend like $200 to buy the colored one. This is just stock Drake because I wanted to try it. And when I looked online and like tried to like gauge the community, there's not a lot of testing with this bay, and I think it was because it was like kept behind like a paywall. So right now I'm rocking, of course, like I said, Cobalt Drake on 460 flat. And I think flat's a good attack bit, but I know some people say you should play Rush and stuff like that. It's just, I don't think this bay's been explored enough to kind of justify, you know, like exploring it. Just because it's been behind a paywall, and now people are just starting to get access to it so they can start, you know, experimenting with it. My plan is to rock it on 960 flat and see how that goes. And then I do plan to try a bunch of other attack bits. I've rush, low flat, just because this is like my attack choice. Like I said, I think that the way that I build my deck is going to be like Dragoon's always going to stay no matter what. So Dragoon's just going to be like the balance type that can be both defense, stamina, and attack when needed. So then like these other two spots need to be filled up with either defense or attack, or stamina. But I kind of like, from the Beyblade meta, you like see like there's a lot of stamina builds like Silverwolf, Wizard Rod, and stuff like that. So this is my attack bay. I don't think it's better than like some of the other attack bays out here. Like Phoenix, I think Phoenix is like phenomenal because it has its weight. I know that some people were saying that the mold to this was lighter, and I do believe it is a little bit lighter than like the painted one, so it makes it like a little bit, you know, less hard hitting. But I think if we just sit down and we test with this, which I'll probably like the next testing video, will be like rocking like Cobalt Drake on like 960 and trying like different bits. Comment down below what bits you guys would like to try. Not bits, yeah, what tips you would try on Cobalt Drake. But as soon as like I got into Beyblade, I like saw like there's like the series of like Dragoon Drake and then Impact Drake. I just messed up on my order for Impact Drake and ended up ordering a second Dragoon. So I just got to order Impact Drake. But after I've been seeing like the reviews of Impact Drake's rubber and stuff like that, maybe not. Maybe I still get it just to get like the low rush, because I feel like if you can get Cobalt Drake just a little bit lower to smack a ratchet, it can win. I have found like when you're playing against other hard hitters such as like Keel Shark, Whale Wave, Phoenix, Soar Phoenix, I think it's Phoenix Soar, yeah, Soar Phoenix, that you don't want to launch directly into it like immediately. You want to try and like engage the long fight, if that makes sense, because when I've launched this thing directly, it's just, since the weight of those bays are a little bit more than this bay just immediately loses and then hits the wall, and it just loses outright. So like I've learned trying to launch myself at like an angle, or try to like opposite launch of what my opponent is doing, so that way like Drake can at least grip one of those extreme rails and maybe pull around and like smoke it. But as we all know, attack bays, when they're like battling each other in the middle of the arena, it's just like it's crazy, and it's almost decided instantly, you know, like what bay will win when attack versus attack. But yep, but anyway, this is like the bay I'm most excited to experiment with, just because there's not a lot of content and not a lot of like experimentation with it, I feel like. Because a lot of the videos I've seen, they're still rocking the 460 ratchet, and the 460 ratchet sucks. 460 and 260 bust so easy that I'm just not a huge fan of it. So moving on, this is Silverwolf Stock 2, because again, I wanted to rock Silverwolf Stock to see how good it is. Silverwolf will not remain in my deck. I actually got Nightmail on the way, and I do plan to test like Nightmail on like 560 Transpoint, Nightmail on like 360, I think, or is 360 Nightmail on 360 Hexa is also something I want to try. But there was a cool build of Wolf that I saw that I actually probably will test, which is on Wolf on 385 Bounce Spike, and that thing seemed like unmovable. Like the amount of recoil absorption it had was insane. But this is just stock Silverwolf. You've probably seen this time and time again. It's on 380 ball, I believe. A free ball, excuse me. I really like free ball as a tip. It's like one of the most stamina tips. I think I really like this tip. It's just, I've noticed, again, if balls on like taller Beyblades, you start to bob and weave real quick, and that's where like those attack Beyblades can essentially beat you, especially with an 80 height ratchet, because they can like zoom around and hit your ratchet from behind and bust you. This is the 380 ratchet. Not a big fan of this. A big fan of the 3, but not a big fan of the height. If I were to do, because with Silverwolf, you want to keep it high, because it has this gimmick of the free-flowing blades that deflect attacks to protect the ratchet. So you can't put Silverwolf on 60 because it just defeats the ratchet, defeats the gimmick purpose, excuse me. So you need to find, and I think that 80 is too high, and I would think that it would be too high for 85, but from the testing, a little bit of like minuscule testing I saw of it, the recoil was just so strong, and that the 85, the 385 was just so like burst resistant. So we're going to try that, but I think this, like the 70 ratchet is like perfect. Maybe you do like a 970 on this, and then you rock either Hexa or Free Ball here, or I really want to try the Disc Ball, because that just looks cool. That reminds me of like the old school Beyblade. If you guys remember from like the first gen, where like I think Dragoon fought Cyber Dragoon. Cyber Dragoon had like that ring around it. So like maybe that might be what we test on, but Silverwolf is just a placeholder for Nightmail for now. It is a phenomenal Beyblade. It is like remarkable in my opinion, like I said, and I do plan to test it with the that 385 bounce spike, because that just, the video I saw, dude, like I can't even lie to you guys, like the video I saw, the recoil power, this thing was like getting hit by like Soar Phoenix, getting hit by like Impact Drake, dude, and it was like barely being phased. Like science and physics, you know, play a part of this game. So like you would think, like my monkey brain would think tall up would get knocked over, but like physics had like the recoil of the bounce spike being able to pressurize, like take in, absorb the hit, and then Just silver was being a hefty too. But again, like, I don't know. I feel like 85 is like the highest ratchet we have, and that might be too high that it just leaves like, you know, the ratchet exposed, and it's too high that the gimmick's not playing part. But that's where testing will just have to come in, is like, you know, finding out if the 70 height ratchets are like the perfect height for that. Because like I said, if you go 60, you're defeating the gimmick, and that's like one of the strongest points of this is like, as you can see, kind of here on mine, like some of the white spots, like right here and like here where it's been hit, like you can tell that the blade here is doing its purpose. So you want to like abuse that. Like if you have a gimmick, abuse it. You know what I mean? But this Bey, like right out of the gate, did phenomenal. Like truly, if you are trying to get into Beyblade and you want like a fresh out the box, don't have enough time or budget to like get like all the ratchets and bits, Silverwolf right out of the gate is incredibly strong. I do recommend it. So yeah. That is it for the deck profile, guys. I do appreciate you guys coming. Hopefully this format is like really cool and it's like unique and you guys enjoy it. I know like a lot of people just show the Beyblades and let them rip and stuff like that, but I feel like just having a set down moment, showing the Beyblades more so and discussing, talking about, because in Beyblade, unlike TCG and card games, there's so many factors and more like experience depending that I feel like just like sitting down and explaining your experience goes a long way, so you can see if you're having the same experience as like other bladers. But anyway, guys, again, thank you so much for watching. This is Charles from COGblades signing out.